Well, let me tell you something, brother.
Snort, snort, snort.
Kogan. Drip.
Snort, snort.
I got the drip. Go. Today is the release of Hellblade 2. So let's talk about this, because already I'm seeing insane amounts of stupidity and misinformation in the chat about this game. All right. Hellblade 2, or Senua's Saga, is the sequel to the 2017 game, Hellblade: Senua's Sacrifice. Okay? If you played the game, you know all about what it's like. But for those who didn't, allow me to explain. All right? Hellblade is a game that is mostly narrative-based. Okay? There's definitely gameplay elements, combat, puzzles. I would argue it's like God of War light. And what I mean by that is, like, some of the combat and stuff takes elements from, like, a game like God of War, and some of the puzzles you have to solve, for sure. In fact, the visuals also kind of look like God of War from that time period. But it definitely is a less of a focus on gameplay elements and more of a focus on narrative, graphics, sound design, and essentially a cinematic experience. Okay? I remember when I played Hellblade 1, I originally didn't play it when it was a new release, and people were like, oh, you're missing out. Like, this game actually is quite good. You really should check it out. So eventually I did. And when I did, I was legit blown away. I was like, I had no clue. First of all, I couldn't believe this game had been made by Ninja Theory, which is not a ginormous AAA studio, by the way. It's not like there's some giant studio with unlimited budget. You know, they're not known for these giant scale games. And they made this game, and it looked so good. I was like, this is like almost best-in-class visuals at the time. In 2017, I was like, well, how does it look this good, right? And I remember playing through it, and here's the thing. The game is constantly making you wonder what's going on, because the whole premise is that the main character has some kind of, like, mental illness or mental break, where she's hearing voices, she's seeing things, and you don't know what's real and what's not. Like, you literally can't tell in the game what's happening. And that's intentional. Like, that's actually legit intentional, that you're supposed to always be guessing and wondering. Is this something that's haunting her from the past and she's fighting through it in her mind? Or is this legit real in real life? Is she being attacked by real people and things? Like, what is going on? So, in that regard, as a narrative-based game, all right, with amazing visuals at the time, it absolutely works. Now, it's also a short game. I remember that game was what? Like, I want to say Hellblade 1 was probably around, like, maybe like 10 hours, 8 hours. I can't remember, actually. I wonder, hold on. I can actually look that up, how long my playthrough was. I don't know why I didn't do that, because I was curious, how long was the first game compared to the second? So, give me a second here. Here, content. Hellblade. So here it is, from August 2017. And by the way, I had no idea that this was 7 years old. It doesn't feel that old, does it? It really doesn't feel like Hellblade was 7 years old. So my playthrough was 32 parts. Each part was around 10 to 15 minutes. They varied. And the last part was a half an hour. So if you do the math, probably around 6 to 7 hours. All right, for this game. Not the longest game, correct? I mean, that's pretty short. But, again, that is what they're going for. They're going for a shorter cinematic experience. All right? Ultimately, I remember when I beat the first Hellblade, I was like, wow, I really like that game, and I have no idea what just happened. Like, seriously, like, you beat it, and you're like, I don't know what just... was that all real? Is she just imagining this entire scenario in her mind? Like, what's going on? Right? Also, one people should realize is that this series is not a full-fledged retail series. They're not charging $70 for these games. I don't know what the cost of Hellblade was when it released in 2017, but it was not, you know, 60, 70 bucks. It was probably like 30, 40 bucks, something like that. So they know that it's a shorter game, so they're going to, you know, not charge you full price, okay? So anyway, with that being said, all right, I liked the first game. I actually genuinely enjoyed it and had a good time with it, despite the fact that after I beat it, I really didn't know what was going on. Right? I was like, oh, okay. So, here we are 7 years later. Hellblade 2. Okay? So, everyone on the internet, of course, is talking about it today, and the reviews are out, and it's hilariously mixed. Okay? You got some people who are like, all right, so, the visuals, again, pretty much best in class. Like, you're going to be blown away with how Hellblade 2 looks, because they really worked hard on these visuals to make them look amazing, whether you're playing on Xbox or PC. However, the game runs at 30 frames on Xbox, just like the first one. The Hellblade 1 was 30 frames, Hellblade 2 is 30 frames. Now on PC, depending on your hardware, you can push the visuals, and you can get it 60 frames or higher, but it's really more depending on your hardware setup. On Xbox, you're playing it on 30 frames no matter what. Okay? Audio, supposedly, the audio is ridiculously amazing. They did all this directional audio and different things with the audio that's supposed to be, like, groundbreaking. But I have a neck phone surround setup that's supposed to have surround sound. Sometimes it works well, and other times not so much. I don't know how much I'm going to be able to hear this. You guys won't hear it, because on YouTube, they don't do directional audio. Yeah, YouTube it only does the, like, stereo or whatever, from what I'm to understand. I heard that there are ways to do it, but a standard stream like mine, you're not going to get surround audio. So sadly, probably neither I or you are going to get the full experience of what this game would be like if you were, like, sitting in a surround sound room or had, like, surround sound high-end headphones on. You're just not going to get that here, okay? Gameplay. From what I'm to understand, Hellblade 2 is very, very much like the first game. Is there combat? Yes. Are there puzzles? Yes. But for the most part, you're walking around exploring in a world that's incredibly unique and visually stunning, but confusing. You can't tell what's real and what's not, or if anything is even real. The story is cryptic, and you're trying to piece together the pieces of the story to understand the game. It's pretty much the same game as the first one, only it's not the same story. You know, the story's continuing. So if you liked Hellblade 1, you're going to like Hellblade 2, you know? If you don't like that, if you're looking for a game that has robust, amazingly challenging combat and stuff like that, this doesn't have it. If you're looking for a game that's 40 hours long, because for some reason gamers have now been, like, trained to expect an insane amount of gameplay out of any new game, then you're not going to like this game either. The game is going right for what the first game was, only advancing that story and pushing the visuals and audio. Some people will argue it's a tech demo. Okay? Well, alright, maybe it's a tech demo. But, is it entertaining? Are you immersed? Is it fun where it catches you and you want to keep going? That's the real question. How many games out there have a ton of gameplay, but within a few hours you're bored? Right? I'm going to be honest with you. Dragon's Dogma 2. That's a game that apparently has insane amounts of gameplay, but you play for like 5 hours, you've seen almost everything besides a few of the big monsters, you know the gist of the game. So, what's the point? Right? Like, what's the point of a game that you're just already, say, alright, here we go, grind for another 80 hours now, same fucking game, right? For me, and this is my personal experience, you can disagree, and that's fine. Everyone has different tastes. I would prefer a game that no matter when I'm playing it, I'm having a good time, I'm riveted, I'm hooked, and I want more. As opposed to a game that delivers an incredible amount of content, but it's all repetitive and not interesting and kind of boring. You know what I'm saying? So, there you go. I'm just like, and I will compare this to a game a million years ago none of you will remember. The Darkness 2. None of you will remember that game, okay? It was a game that I played early on in my YouTube career. And I remember when The Darkness 2 came out, I hadn't played The Darkness 1, so I had no clue if I was going to like it. But at that point, I was trying to cover all the hot new releases, and this was one for this particular week. And I remember there were other games out at the time as well. And when I played The Darkness 2, okay, basically, here's what happened. I started playing it, and I was immediately hooked by interesting gameplay elements, but a story. Even though the game was supposed to be based around this first-person shooter gameplay with, like, tendrils and monsters, I was hooked by the story. And the funny part about Darkness 2 is it's a very short game. It's about, I want to say it's 5 to 6 hours long. So it's a very short experience. But every moment you're playing, you're interested and riveted by what's going on. There's a dual story plotline where you don't know if you're really there or if you're in a nut house and imagining all of it. Does that sound familiar? I mean, it's kind of similar to the plot of the Hellblade games, right? So it's very mysterious in that regard. So I beat the Darkness 2, okay? And then I went on to play the other games for the week. And at the end of the week, I always kind of do like a review or whatever. I was like, the Darkness 2 is the best game that I've played in a while. It's like 6 hours long, but every moment I played it, I loved my time in it. It was fun. It was interesting. It kept me thinking. The story was engaging. And at the end, it had a good ending. I was like, that was a great game. The other games I'm playing are more gameplay centric, but they're just not that interesting. This game hooked me, right? And I think that's what they're going for with the Hellblade series. They know that with the style of game they're making and the budget they have and the production that they're putting on, they're not trying to beat other games. You're not going to play Hellblade 2 and be like, holy shit, that combat engine is so much better than God of War Ragnarok, right? No one's going to say that. The point is they're trying a different thing. If you're into that, then by all means, stick around today on my streams and check it out. I'm playing this all day. And the reports are, if you know how to play the game and you absolutely rush through it and you ace every puzzle and you beat every fight on the first try, you can literally beat this game in like 5 hours. But for most people, you're going to walk around and explore. You're going to be wanting to understand the lore and look for items. You're going to take your time immersing yourself in the world. And then the game could be anywhere from 8 to 10 hours long. Okay? Probably, you know me, with the interaction and everything we do on the streams, likely it's going to be longer than that for me. I would guess that this playthrough probably will be around 10 hours for me. Because, you know, with me talking with you guys and everything, it always takes a little bit longer. So, that is actually why I'm playing it all day. Because I wanted to get a good chunk into it. If we play it all day today and I get like 5 hours in, arguably we'll be halfway through the game. And that means that over the next coming week, I could continue to play it and beat it. And then we could, you know, in 1 week. As opposed to if I just played it one stream today and I only played it in one stream increments, we're talking probably 4 streams to beat it. And that could take like 2 weeks. Who the hell wants to take me 2 weeks to beat an 8 to 10 hour game, right? So that's why I'm playing it so much today. Because I know some people question, why is Phil, he almost never plays the same game all day long. Why is he doing it like that? I want to get a big jump into it. Okay? Okay. But here's the thing. I'm just going to say it right now. I am absolutely not going to put up with people who just want to be negative people in the chat about this style of game. If you're someone who likes Dark Souls games, this is not Dark Souls. If you're someone who likes God of War, this is not going to be the length of God of War. All right? And it's not going to have the robustness and the complexity of the gameplay engine of God of War. All right? The one thing this game is supposed to excel on is the visuals. So let's look at that. Let's focus on that and say, is this game visually compelling? Did they pull something off here that's pretty remarkable for a console? Okay. How about the story? Is the story riveting? Are we getting caught up into it? Are we excited for it? Right? That's what you need to be focusing on. We already know the style of game it is. You don't go into a telltale narrative game and say, where's the gameplay? Right? Same thing there. You don't go into Dark Souls and say, where are the vehicles? Why can't I drive? Right? But it seems like today, everyone has this weird preconceived notion of what needs to be in a game, and you must check off each checkbox on this weird good game checklist to say if a game is good or not. Well, wait a minute. Hold on a second. This game's only 8 hours long. Immediately it's bad because there's not enough gameplay. Wait, the gameplay takes a backseat to narrative and visuals? Oh, that's awful. That's a big demerit there. Like, what are you talking about? There's different games for different people. Games are better when they do different things. If every game was the same and was aspiring to do the same things, there would be no variety and it would be bland and boring. I don't want everything to be bland and boring. By the way, I'm not saying that if this game ends up being bland and boring, that I'm going to sugarcoat it. I'm going to tell you what I think truly about the game every moment that we are playing it. Okay? If I feel like this game should have been 60 frames and it's detrimental because it's running at only 30, I'm going to tell you that. Okay? I will criticize the game fairly, as I always do. But I hate that people go in here and they just completely judge a game unfairly based on these fucking notions of nonsense. Okay? If this game is truly 8 hours long, but it's got amazing visuals, a good riveting story, and I'm enjoying myself when I'm playing every moment of those 8 hours, then why is it a bad game exactly? Right? But then people will say that anyway. Oh, well, no, modern era, you can't have a game that's 8 hours long. Modern era, you better have challenge in the gameplay. This is ridiculous, right? Like they say, different strokes for different folks. And the thing is, at some point, you have to learn to respect the opinions of others. Listen, I personally think Fortnite is not a very good game. I think there's better Battle Royale games out there. I don't understand how it went viral besides kids play it and got caught on in that way. And quite frankly, there was a lot of streamers who caught on and did that, like dyed their fucking hair and acted like cartoon characters to attract kids to watch and play the game. But I'm not going to sit here and be like, so I'm going to crap on this game constantly. And I'm going to go to streamers who are playing it and crap on the game in their streams. And I'm going to do that. No. If you don't like this style of game, that's fine. Don't stick around today. Because as of tomorrow, I'm playing Street Fighter 6 all day. Later this week, I'm playing indie games in a marathon. After that, we're going to get back to Fallout 4. And we're going to have about Multiverses is coming up next week. Right? In the next month, I'll probably play a good variety of games leading up to the Shadow of the Erdtree DLC in Elden Ring. So no matter what kind of a game you like, I'm going to be covering that good variety of stuff. Okay? So, that's good, right? But please don't be here being incredibly negative towards this all day long because it's not your cup of tea. Because I'll tell you right now, I already saw people in chat. It seems like they were going like this. I can't wait. Today's my time. I can sit here and crap on Hellblade 2 all day. No. No. You're not going to do that. Because if I see it, I'm going to warn you. And if you continue to do it, I'm going to time you out. And if you continue to do it, I'm going to ban you. Because there's no point in fucking sitting here just to spread negativity. No one cares about that you don't like this game. Then go do something else and come back when I'm doing something that you do like. You don't go to the Taylor Swift concert, sit front row, and yell at her, "You suck! I hate your music! You suck!" You just don't go to the concert, right? So there's no reason for you to be sitting here and complaining all day about a game you don't like. All right? I get it. Not anyone will like this game. It's not one of those please everyone style games. You know what I'm saying? It's not. So I hope you guys understand that. I've actively chosen to play it because it's shorter. It's a Game Pass game. It fits into the schedule for variety purposes. That's why I'm playing it. I'm curious, is it as good as the first one? Is it not? Is it better? What have they done with these visuals in the 7 years that they've been developing the game, right? Is it amazing now? Does it blow you away? You know, how about the story? Because I'll be honest, like I said, when I beat the first one, I was confused. I was scratching my head. What actually happened in that game? Will we actually get more answers during this one? I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe we'll beat it and it'll be just like the first. At the end, you'll be just as confused as when the game started, and you won't know what's happening, right? And that's okay as long as we had a good time. And that was my feeling in the first game. Like, I enjoyed my time in it, even though I was still confused at the end. So it's fine. So let's actively try to enjoy each other's company. Let's try to enjoy the game. And if you don't end up liking it, that's fine. But please don't just sit here and start being, oh, but I don't understand. It's not as good as this game. It doesn't have this from this game. It's not supposed to. It's not those games. That's the whole point. You don't like it, that's fine. I'm going to give you my honest opinions as I'm playing it, like I always do. Maybe I won't like it as much as I don't know. I'm a different person. 7 years, a long time. It changes you, right? So maybe I will be more critical of this one. I don't know. But I can tell you, to see people already in my chat this morning, oh yeah, finally, I've been seeing all these negative, awful things on the internet about the game. That's not even correct. If you look at reviews, generally reviews are positive for the game. People are saying it's a good narrative experience, great graphics, great audio. Yes, it's gameplay light, but so was the first game. So where is it all the... Oh, everyone's crapping on it. Who? It doesn't even exist, but that's what I mean. They saw 2 people complain about it. Oh, everyone's crapping on it. Now it's time for me to dump too. No, go take the dump in someone else's stream. All right? This is not the toilet of the internet here. Go do that somewhere else. Excuse me. Okay, so hopefully, I've cleared the air now, and people are now going to be like, okay, we're going to be fair to it. If not, I've already laid down the law. I forewarned you. This is not going to be a situation where I'm going to put up with this nonsense all day, okay? Okay, cool. That cool? You understand? All right, so here's the schedule for the week. Today, Hellblade 2 on the first stream, Hellblade 2 on the late stream.
I got the drip going. 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 I got the drip
It's like a
going.
faucet that's dripping. You can't make it stop. So what do you want me to do? Have a mute button that every second I'm tapping the mute button just in case I'm gonna have to clear? Like, this is what I mean, these dumb kids. This is what it is, it's dumb kids.